Well, this is another one of our fireside chats, and I'm really lucky to have Cameron from Paiger with us today. Um, Cam, Cammy and Paiger have been a real supporter of Team over the years. And Cameron, you were on our marketing forum last week, giving some real advice to our members on how to maximize your potential on LinkedIn, which is, of course, where 99.9% of our recruiters live, and it is the medium to be present on. Um, uh, Before we get on to Pager, it'd be useful to give us a couple of tips for people that don't know you and weren't on that marketing session. Some tips and guidance on maybe three things that a recruiter should do to maximize their potential on LinkedIn. And I will refer them to that recorded session that we did on Friday for the marketing session.
Yeah, sure, Simon. Look, thanks very much for having me. I think three tips or three hints I would give recruiters when it comes to LinkedIn is I think the first one is be consistent. It is a long-term play building like a personal brand or being known for something on LinkedIn, but it's absolutely worth it. If you are posting weekly, monthly just now, try and up it, even if it's just a couple of times, 3 times a week. You'll get way more results faster if you're able to do that. I think the second thing is spend a bit of time figuring out what it is you want to be known for on the platform. A lot of people want to be seen as experts in their niche, so have a think about that. And it's not doesn't necessarily have to just be recruitment focused content like how to manage a counter offer situation, things like that. Maybe you recruit in Java and you want to be seen as someone who has an opinion in that niche. So that would be the second thing that I would say. And then the third thing I think is don't get too bogged down in is what you're doing candidate marketing or is what you're doing client marketing. The only differentiation between the two that stands out really, really clearly for me is if you're talking about a job, often that's for candidates, but people get so bogged down in thinking marketing is either has to be client focused or candidate focused. If you've got an opinion on the niche that you cover and a potential client or a candidate sees that, it's going to be valuable for both of those parties. So don't be sitting there going, I've not done enough on the client side or the candidate side. People often make that mistake and it slows them down, and that could be one of the things that stops them from being consistent. So don't worry about that.
Good, and thank you for that. And a lively discussion on Friday, and helped by Adam at Force 24, who chaired it and challenged you with a few questions that were really good. So I'll make sure that people get a link to that as well. It'd be good for those people who don't understand or haven't met you before. We got 100 new members from last year. They may not know who Paiger is. Can you? And I find it difficult to describe because it's a fairly unique offering.
Yeah.
Can you explain in a few simple terms to an idiot like me what Paiger does and what you do?
Certainly. So we're an AI assistant for recruiters. Our sole focus is to try and save recruiters time across various different activities. So whether that comes from remaining consistent on LinkedIn and building your brand on a marketing front, or whether that comes to things like sourcing and writing complex Boolean strings using AI, which would be a time-consuming task if you were doing it manually, all the way through to sort of using AI to help you with your content, or even things like picking up your jobs from your website, creating moving and engaging images with the job information overlaid, and using some machine learning to write a post to promote the job. It's all these tasks that recruiters will find themselves doing repeatedly, even things like delivering vacancy alerts through into the inbox of your team in and around the niche that they cover, telling you what corporate hirers are hiring for the type of people that are inside your database. So all of these things that would normally take time, we're looking to try and buy that time back so you can be on the phone to clients and candidates doing more revenue generating activity.
That is a good point, actually, because time is the biggest enemy for recruiters and probably lots of business people now. But what you've just described is that because you can post out through your team as well, you can significantly multiply. Not only have you saved time on creation of content, but you've maximized the potential of outreach, haven't you, with all the communities they have?
That's it. And a really simple exercise to do on that one, Simon, is add up the first degree connections of your recruiters. So, say,
Yeah.
for example, you've got, and your company page, say,
Yeah.
for example, you've got 35,000 followers, stroke connections across your team. If you reach 5% of that number, it's 1,750. It would
Mhm.
take you a long time to make 1,750 calls or send 1,750 in-mails.
Yeah.
So it's about that consistent reach in front of those clients and candidates can help drive more traffic towards you. That's the name of the game.
You made a key point last week about the importance of the personal brand and the outreach potential on LinkedIn, and I think the people buy from people, don't they? So I think a phrase you said. The focus on your personal page is probably more important than the company page, wasn't it? Just explain that a little bit before we move on a little bit more about Paiger.
Yeah, so the way LinkedIn works is that it gives way more reach to people's personal posts than it does for company posts. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one is they want people to spend time on the platform, so they want
Yeah.
humans on the platform versus the company pages. And secondly, it's that point you made there, Simon, that recruitment's a relationship game.
Mm.
Unfortunately, we kind of see it all the time. When recruiters move on from agency to agency, that restrictive covenant's out the window, and all of a sudden the clients and the candidates are going with them. But
Yeah.
it's about, when these people are working with you in your organization, like how do you use their brand, their thought leadership, their relationships to then inadvertently or advertently, should I say, drive traffic back towards your brand. And so, if you've got recruiters that work for you that have large networks, some people have 10, 15,000 connections, all of relevant potential clients or candidates in the niche. If they're not doing things consistently on LinkedIn, then it has a detrimental effect to your business brand because they're not doing anything to get in front of their clients and candidates.
No, that's a really good point. Now, we spoke, I think, briefly just before Christmas, and you said there were some interesting changes you've got and developments at Pager. Be good to if you could share that now.
Yeah, sure. So we've been working really hard in the background for a long, long time now, in and around some of the AI stuff that I mentioned at the beginning there.
Mm.
So we often will say to recruiters, like, what is it you want to be known for? So say, for example, you were like a DevOps recruiter in London, you might want to be known for having an authoritative message or tone, or be known in the space for being a go-to person in DevOps as an example. Pager's now at a stage where you can give our tech prompts in and around the DevOps space. For example, things like, tell me about the DevOps sector in the UK and use statistics to back it up. What are the top 10 things DevOps candidates care about? Those types of things. And then every single day, our tech will go away and it will produce an original LinkedIn post for that recruiter, send it through into their inbox for them every single day based on the prompts that they've given the tech. And they can then make any slight tweaks and amendments that they want and drop that out in their account and crack on with their day. So we're really helping with that consistency piece. And the best thing about this is the tech will never ever do the same thing twice. So we could have 1 million DevOps recruiters using our technology, and you'll never ever get the same thing written twice. And we have a human factor part built into it as well, where you can almost force the recruiter to make some tweets before it goes out. So
Yeah.
we're not saying that the robots are taking over. We're saying if you sit at your desk in the morning in the best will in the world, you go, I've not done anything for my personal brand. I need to put something out there. I can't
Yeah.
think of what to do. I'll just get on the phone. We solve that problem for recruiters now.
Yeah. That
Okay.
people was people would spend, I know, maybe an hour thinking about writing and thinking about where to post, what to do, what's the subject matter. If you're doing that every day and it's different, well, then
Yeah.
wow, you can have a massive impact on it. You were encouraging people who are doing it a couple of times a month to do it, just do it 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
If they've got your product, they can instantly have stuff that they
Yeah.
can personalize as well each day.
Yeah. And
That's impressive.
we also conducted some research as well, and we're speaking to a lot of agency owners and sort of team leads and managers in and around the sourcing side of things,
Yeah.
in particular in and around Boolean logic. And we found that when they were ramping up new teams, if they were scaling teams in with rookies or whatever, that was a sort of tough ramp phase for rookies, was in and around Boolean. They didn't understand the operators. They didn't know how they worked. They were making mistakes
Yeah.
that were ultimately costing them talent. So We've also developed an arm to the tech now, which is an AI string builder that understands synonyms, and it also understands commutable locations.
Yeah.
So say you were looking for Java developers in London, some people may just do Java developer London, and they might remember to do some commutable locations, but they
Yeah.
might miss Loughton, Cambridge, wherever
Yeah.
it might be from their
Yeah.
string, and that can cause them to miss talent and ultimately miss fees. So we've got that as well, something we've developed since the last time you and I spoke.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was now. It might have been the SIA did a session with us recently, and they talked about talking about the future of recruitment, and they said, look, AI won't take over, but it'll enhance the skill. It'll dynamically enhance the skill of those recruiters working with it, with their knowledge, their skill, their personal skills with clients and candidates. It will enhance them, and the ones that don't embrace AI and other tools within the operating marketplace will get left behind, because it's just going to save time. It's going to build brand and outreach and capture a few other people that perhaps you might not be doing if you're not embracing some of those new tools. That's really exciting. Well, look, Cameron, thank you very much for all the stuff that you and Paiger do to support team and our members, but also really exciting to hear about some of those changes at Paiger. I'll make sure that this is connected on our website and the hub with the session that you ran on Friday. And please continue doing what you're doing. Sounds fabulous. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thanks so much to you and the network for all the support as well, Simon. Thanks again. Cheers.
A pleasure. Cheers for now.